Menstruation. It's bloody, it's sticky, it's painful, and it sucks. But here's a history of it anyways. Roman philosopher Pliny the Elder was convinced that periods was some kind of magical sorcery. In fact, he wrote that people on their periods would kill entire fields of crops, cause bees to leave their hives, and control the weather. But let's rewind it a bit. According to research, menstruation wasn't one of the body's default processes, like breathing or excretion. It first developed in anthropoid primate, the common ancestor between the monkey and the human, and this was about 40 million years ago. Evidence shows that Paleolithic women, I hope I'm saying that right, also known as cave women, menstruated much earlier, with periods starting between the ages of 7 and 9. The earliest period management could actually be dated back into Stone Age, and this was about 30,000 BCE. And they had rudimentary pads made from leather, linen wrapped in moss and sand. Ancient Egyptians had reusable loins of clothes like a basic tampon, and these were made from papyrus and grass. And if you know anything about papyrus, I'd say it's the great ancestor of paper. Hippocrates say that women in ancient Greece would actually wrap lint around wood or fashion homemade rags to catch the blood. The blood would also form part of ceremonies and rituals, like the spring festivals when they would spread it on the earth. In ancient equatorial Africa, women actually used grass mats and rolled it up into some sort of pad. But as we all know it, humanity moved towards the Middle Ages and attitude around periods started to change, and menstruating became the shameful thing that people do, especially in the Middle Ages between the 5th and 14th century. Due to influences from religion and a lack of understanding of biology, menstruation pretty much became a taboo. Beliefs that natural blood could kill crops, dull mirrors, and even give women the ability to shoot poisonous vapors through their eyes were very common. During this era, the most common approach to managing blood was using cloth rags as DIY sanitary pads. Other evidences suggest that those experiencing their cycles caught their blood with observant bog moss. So during the modern age, between the 15th and the 19th century, periods was still a taboo. It's no shock that the people kept menstruation a secret. Religious shame caused people to go to great lengths to hide their periods, and even believe that cramps were a divine punishment for their sins. You know, Eve's original sin, eating the apple. But since cramps were seen as a sin, people were never offered medication or any pain relief for what they were going through. In an effort to ease some of the pain, people believed that burning a toad and wearing the ashes in a patch around your waist could cure your cramps. Around this time, women had to place cotton and funnel inside their bloomers when they were on their periods. And also, a rubber apron was invented to place between their undies and the blood flow. The rubber did a great job from protecting furniture from the blood, so it kinda worked. But unfortunately for women in these ages, this was all very uncomfortable. The use of such devices wasn't shared by anyone. However, in Europe, many women of lower classes had to bleed into their own clothing. You ever seen the videos of Great Europe where people basically just took one shower a week or in 2 weeks, and when they take the showers, first the dad starts, then it's the mom, and then it's the older sibling, and well, the hierarchy goes on. But let's talk about the Victorian period and beyond. In the late 19th century, period entered the Bridgerton era, and we saw the invention of the first menstrual products. From the 1890s to the early 1880s, people used sanitary belts, which were basically reusable pads they attached to a belt worn around the waist. And yes, they were as uncomfortable as they sound. While the reusable part was actually a pretty good idea, the belts were bulky and leakage was very common. The first disposable pad made it into the market in 1888. They were called the Lister towels by Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson is pretty old, I know. And in the early 20th century, during World War I, nurses used soluble bandages in places of the reusable one. Even though the nurses used the bandages, the belt stuck around to actually hold the bandages in place. The first tampons came into the scene in the 1930s, and aside from updating applicators over the years, the basic technology of the tampon has not actually ever changed after that. But yeah, that's it for me about pads and tampons and menstruation. See you in the next video.